We're about to start recording. And we want to welcome everybody to our Friendship Academy's 2021-22 annual public meeting. It is an opportunity that we have that we're grateful for to just give a high-level recap of the year. This is meant to be not more than an hour. And to give you an opportunity not only to hear a high level recap about last year, but also the last school year, the 2021 school year, which is a year that we're never going to forget. And also see what direction that we're going in 21, 22, and all the way through 2024. So anytime throughout this particular meeting, I'm going to do a lot of talking initially, just to talk about kind of where we are and where we're going, but going to be cognizant of the time to leave time for any comments, any questions, any ideas, or anything that you want to bring up during this time. So anytime you can put it in the chat. I'm not going to be able to see the chat while I'm presenting, but after I get done presenting, I will then go back and put it in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact, then just send us an email. If you got any questions or concerns, school@friendshipacademy.org, and we will be sure to make sure that your question is answered. A more detailed report, a more detailed account of 2020-21 will be in our annual report, which is released in December. So you'll be able to, that'll be available on our website, and we'll also make sure that it is available on our social media as well. So 2001, 2021, 22 year at a glance. One thing about it is that last year was in year 1 of 3 of growth, and it's amazing to see our biggest accomplishment as a community. 21 years ago, I could see the founders getting together and just trying to get to the next day, trying to figure out what do we need to do to get the doors open. All of the challenges that they faced, all of the uncertainty, and little did they know in year 20, we would have 2 campuses, kindergarten through 8th grade at Friendship Academy of the Arts. That dream was realized last year. So we're very proud of that. It's next to being a blue ribbon school, our biggest moment. And then well, outside of opening the doors, is to be able to open up another campus, and it's beautiful. And it's a great community accomplishment and great facility for our students and staff. So we want to be cognizant, though, that we are still one school. So we don't want primary campus to feel like they are not a part of Friendship Academy of the Arts. Yes, they are. We don't want intermediate campus to feel like they are not part of Friendship Academy, because they are. So we had one of our leadership team members as a result of feedback that we received from our team, came up with this, Friendship Academy of the Arts, 2 locations, but we're still one school. And I want to remind us of our mission. Mission of Friendship Academy is to educate children to be confident, competent, and creative citizens. So confidence is that we teach them to believe in themselves. A lot of what we learned last year was social emotional learning is just as important as academic learning. And that goes right into what our mission is, to build that belief system in themselves that they can do it, whatever they put their mind to. Competent, meaning that we really focus on mastering the standards, putting them in a position to where they'll be able to function anywhere, whatever school they decide to attend after 8th grade. And then create creative citizens. So these are your problem solvers of the future. These are your people that's going to be innovative. These are people that's going to be more confident and understand more about who they are. So you put those 3 things together, and that's how And that is our mission and our vision. We want to empower our scholars to be lifelong leaders, learners. Now, this is where we do it as the whole child. We want to educate the whole child, not only academically, but socially, emotionally, and artistically. So I hope you see some evidence of that as we move along in our um, presentation. So our beliefs are divided up into 3 different buckets. So we have beliefs that about the value of all people. You see our list there, where every person deserves respect. The intrinsic value is non-negotiable, and every student, I don't care what their background, what their economic status is, what their family situation is, or even home situation, we believe that when they walk in the doors, every one of them has the potential to do great in their education. And our beliefs about the educational experience. We want to provide an experience for our scholars so that they see school in a positive light and see lifelong learning as something that is a part of their life because they had a positive impact, positive experience at Friendship Academy of the Arts. So as you can see here, higher standards stimulate achievement, art integration enhances the learner intellectually and culturally. I'm not going to read all of them, but family involvement is critical to learning. Those are some of the examples. And our beliefs about the impact of school. Education is powerful, and learning is a lifelong process. And education will give our scholars the opportunity to have access to unlimited opportunity. That is what fuels us. That is what drives us, these beliefs right here, to help accomplish that mission that I just named earlier. And this is our model. So we have 5 pillars to our model. This model was developed back in 2017, implemented in 2018, and it involves 5 basic pillars. So this is how we do it. This is what it looks like on a Tuesday. This is what it looks like in real life, where we focus on academics. Academics is focus on personalized learning, focus on staff development, focus on staff development. It really looks at that. We look at the data to guide our instruction. We again focus on standards mastery. When it comes to leadership, we teach the seven habits of highly effective people to both our staff and our students and our family. We want to get everybody involved because these are very important principles to the social emotional development of not only our students, but our staff. Art integration, there it is right there. So we do this a couple different ways. We infuse it into our instruction. And we also have a AM programming for arts enrichment. And family and community collaboration is critical. We engage the whole family, not just the parents. And those community partnerships are so vitally important. And right in the middle where you see those 2 scholars excited and jumping up and down is what we call the friendship way. It's the core of who we are, and it focuses on building positive relationships through a restorative practices process. So our board members in 2021, as you can see, we had Ms. Ananicia Joseph, we had Ms. Wendy Hines, Jules Porter, Maya Brown, Ms. Oblor, and Ms. Hill, Ms. Booth as our teacher representative. This year, we are thankful that our board pretty much stayed the same with one change in terms of the teacher. So we want to welcome Ms. Tiffany Forsland to our board and looking forward to all of the great work that she's going to do and the great work that our board is going to do to help us in year 2. We're talking about year 1, but now we're in year 2. So things are gonna, we are solidify even more than it did last year. So looking forward to all the great work the board is going to do. Last year we were up from 160 scholars to 283 back in 2021. We ended 1920 with 160. In year 1 of growth, our goal was 350. But we ended up with 283. So even though we didn't hit our enrollment target, I mean, the fact that out of 106, so we had a 90% retention rate there. So you'll see that in the annual report. but the to have 123 students, which represent about 50 new families, join us is amazing. So we still maintain a 96% African American, 4% Caucasian, 80% free and reduced lunch, 4% homeless, 10% sped, and what's even more amazing, a 95% attendance rate. So, and this comes in intentional efforts by our office, by our new position that we created last year, our family and community liaison, and our stakeholder director, Ms. Joe and her team, teachers, support staff, everybody really is an all-out effort to make sure our students were in class. And we ended up with a 95% attendance rate, whether it was online, whether it was hybrid, wherever it was. And this is our organizational chart. And as you can see, a new one of the biggest changes in our organizational chart is the creation of directives. So we had to create an organization chart that fit our expansion. So it was usually before then, it was the executive director was the only director, and then everybody else, and up under the executive director was assistant director, but after that, that was it. So to build for capacity, we created director. So we got an associate director who is also the primary building principal. We have the administrative director. We created the academic director, which used to be the mentor teacher, or was the mentor teacher was the previous title, but academic director, we created that. So then we got the stakeholder relation director, and another position was the underneath the academic director was the data and assessment coordinator. Okay. And then we created the MTSS coordinator. And then you see the family and community liaison. So those were the three. Oh, and the intermediate building principal. Those are 4 positions that we created last year that builds up on our capacity. And this year we have added another MTSS coordinator to build the capacity there to meet intervention, and we also increased our number of teachers as well to meet our student and family demand. And this gives you a breakdown of all of the positions. One thing I would call your attention to is at the bottom where well in the middle where it say out of 18 classroom teachers, 50% were teachers of color. So that number is outperforming many of the schools that's in Minneapolis. And we had a 90% retention among staff from previous year. Our staff believed in what we were doing and made a choice and a decision to say, you know what, I want to continue my career with Friendship Academy. And that's something that we don't take lightly. And we do our best to create a great work experience for our staff and our team so that they can create a great student experience for our scholars. Our mascot, this is, if you look at our logo, we updated our logo last year to where it has the stars now. So which goes with our mascot, which are the stars, scholars thinking and acting responsibly. You are a star. You're a scholar, then you can think and act responsibly. Ms. White came up with that acronym, our lead support staff member. And I keep saying that because I want you to see how we, as a community, as friendship community, really pay attention to the voice of the people that do the work every day and really institute it into what we do. As you can see there, our tagline, it used to be where friendship and academic excellence meet. Well, we had a organization to come in a couple of years ago and do a, they did a marketing analysis where they spoke with students and staff and families and leadership. And through it all, through what everybody was saying in terms of how they was experiencing friendship, we as a committee decided uncovering passion and revealing purpose is what we're really doing, because we want to allow our students to discover themselves during their time at friendship, to reveal what their purpose is after they leave us. Another thing that we did during the time of all the unrest is our staff again said, you know, we need to do something. We need to do a march. We need to do something to where our students still see themselves as beautiful, still see themselves as um, positive contributors to society, because a lot of things that happened around George Floyd had a negative impact, had to deal with police, had a negative impact on the social emotional and mental health of our students. So we created this mantra. It's an I am mantra. We say it at least once a week. And we had an I am rally behind this mantra to where at the primary campus, we were out on 38th Street, holding up signs, marching out there. People were honking and things like that. And then at the intermediate campus, we walked around the block to where we were able to showcase, or our students were able to use their voice right on the main street of Hiawatha Avenue. So this is something that goes right with our mission. And it also, everything, if you pay attention to everything in here, it goes either with our mission, our vision, our beliefs, or it goes to what I'm going to show you later in our strategic plan. So everything in here connects to who we are as a friendship community. And our theme was Friendship Strong back in 2021. And as you can see, some pictorial representation of everything that we had to go through, right? So you got spaced out classrooms up there, you got desk shields, you have a teacher just, Miss Basket just doing whatever she got to do to educate, sitting in the hallway with one of her online students. We had the learning pod going on. We had masks all over the place. We had George Floyd. We had testing happening. We opened up a brand new campus, COVID-19. We had protests right down the street, burning in South Minneapolis. You had the vaccine happen, and through it all, you had up at the top right, you had our students still creating, still believing that, you know, they matter. So we're very proud of that. And that was the purpose of being Friendship Strong, is to say through it all, the learning has to continue. And we are thankful and grateful that it did. There we go. All right. We went through all models. We had a choice model last year with the first trimester. We were hybrid. And then we were looking at the numbers around November and decided that it'd be best to go remote. And then the governor, right before Christmas break, said we want everybody in person that is able to. On February 1st, we were already ready to go. So in the third trimester, we were able to move in person. I would say, well, you'll see this in the annual report, but still about 10% of our families remain remote when we went in person. So you'll see a total breakdown of the first and second, third trimester in terms of how many families were remote, how many were hybrid and things of that nature. But we showed that we're able to roll with the punches, that we're able to really work through some challenging situations and keep the learning going for our scholars and our families. And our families, man, I mean, they really, really stepped up. You're talking about that collaboration between school and home. You know, we showed as a community that we can make this thing happen together, and that we are better together as a school and as families. So this year, our theme is Friendship Stronger, okay? Because through it all, you can see that we still are here. And because we're still here, it means that we are stronger, okay? We got stronger plans. Look, we got, look at the attitudes of all of our staff and students. When you talk about everything that we had to endure, you see we were still able to do some of the things that we wanted to do last year. Even to the point where if you look over to the left, you see those little houses that comes from our leadership retreat, where the first activity from our leadership team was we had little pieces all over the place, and we had to put the pieces together as a way to represent that we got all the pieces that we need. We just need to make it come together and be stronger than we were last year. So some of the highlights of making it through a virtual year, we did a virtual groundbreaking ceremony. I mean, I even Googled it and couldn't find anybody, any context about a virtual groundbreaking ceremony, but we made it happen in Friendship. It's right there on our YouTube, along with all these other things. A virtual art extravaganza, a virtual arts enrichment for the second trimester, a virtual wax museum. Like I never even thought that would be possible, but we did it, and it was great. We came together towards the end of the year and we was in person to do our first combined campus talent show. It was great. We did our first community garden outside the intermediate campus. We had our first ever 8th grade graduation. We highlighted our women and all the contributions they made during Women's History Month. We had weekly virtual assemblies to bring the community together and keep the community together, to do shout outs and things like that. And then we had virtual family engagement meetings. These were all the things that we've done to overcome our situation last year. And this is other evidence on how we're stronger than we were last year, because we made it through it. We made it happen. And these were things that was created out of not even knowing what was going to happen next with the virus and things like that. When no vaccine, when nothing like that. And we made it happen anyway. So we have a great team at Friendship. So this goes into some of our survey information. We took surveys we did 3 surveys last year. And this is a combination of all of them in terms of beginning, mid, and end of the year surveys. 90% of this is from our families. So we did our families, we did our staff, and we did our students. So you see 97% say they believe their child will do great in school. I'm just gonna highlight a few of these. 100% feel that their child is safe and cared for. I mean, safety was at the top of the ticket last year. And all of our parents said, when I send my child to Friendship, I feel safe. I feel like they're safe. 95% that we say that we give them the opportunity to be involved. A voice, I mean, opportunity. So then you get into voice. 92% say they feel comfortable bringing their concerns forward. And then you got 80% said they will refer someone to Friendship Academy. And 89%, which is one of our metrics in our future plan, said overall they're satisfied with Friendship Academy. So we look at our team members. 89% say it's a great place to work. 89% feel like they're supported by administration. Again, here we go. 82% feel like they can bring their concerns to administration. That right there is who we are. I mean, we were started by the community, we were sustained by the community, and we want to continue to be led by the community. So when people say they feel comfortable with bringing their concerns and something is actually being done, that's a testament to just who we are as an organization. Another thing in terms of our focus on professional development, 87% of our staff feels that they receive adequate professional development. We are working on communication. That is a number that has been not where we wanted to be for quite some time. Our goal is this year is to have at least 70 to 80% of our staff say that we communicate effectively. But last school year, it was about half said that we communicate effectively. So when you look at our scholars, 90% say they feel that they can do well in school. 100% feel valued. That's another thing. That's the confidence piece as it relates to our mission. They feel valued. 87% like learning. You know, they like learning at Friendship. I will say at our family, we just had our family open house. This is not a part of last year, but we just had our family open house, and one of the tables that we had was a book table. The book table was the most popular table at the event. So we were giving away many culturally relevant books, and it stayed busy, and we constantly had to restock it. We got more books if anybody would like some culturally relevant books. 75% of our scholars said, y'all doing good. I like it here. All right. So that is feedback. 86% say they got a good relationship with their teacher. That's another big indicator. I'm pulling out things that relate closer to our mission, our vision, and our beliefs, indicators, things like that to say, are we delivering on the promise? Are we being who we say we are? And some of these indicators said we're headed in the right direction for sure. So if you look at our results from last year, our assessment results, you see that in math, MCA is the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment, where it measures standards mastery across the board from grades 3rd through 8th. And it shows that 13.9% of our students were proficient in math and 30% in reading. One thing about us is that we are a high performance school. We have received numerous awards from celebration awards to reward school to blue ribbon, the things that we're very proud of. This is not a place where we're comfortable. At the same time, we don't believe that our school year was a failure because these results are not where we want them to be. I showed you all of the survey results to show there's a lot of happy people at Friendship. And other indicators indicate that we have a strong foundation to really impact high performance as it relates to the MCA in particular. So some of the contributing factors was, yes, of course, we had constant disruptions. Yes, half of our students were new. Yes, half of our staff was new. Yes, we were going into a new building, a new facility. Yes, all of these factors kind of come into play. The mental health. Yes, 55%, over half of our students opted out of taking the MCA because they were given that option due to thinking about their mental health. Yeah, all those are contributing factors, and we don't make excuses. That's what it is, and we're not comfortable here. And we are going, and you're going to see once the slide that says some things that we're doing, and you're going to see our also our strategic plan that's going to show you all the things and our long-term goals, even when it all the way to 2024. You're going to see where we are going and where we plan to be as it relates to MCA. NWEA, we did we pulled two different reports. One is from the fall to the spring. So NWEA, it measures growth. It's a national test. So MCA is only taken by students in Minnesota from 3rd to 8th grade. NWEA is it's not an acronym. That's the actual name. It used to be an acronym, but it's not anymore. So it's just NWEA, and it's taken nationally. And it measures the growth from the time they take it 3 times a year, as in the beginning of the year, in the fall, in the winter, and then again in the spring. And it says, okay, how much did they grow over year over year? And then what I love about NWA, it keeps their record over time. So every time they take it, you get to see their growth continuing from grade to grade. So last year, our goal is that at least on a normal year, a minimum 60% of our students hit their goal, hit their growth target. So every student has a target. So regardless of where they come in at initially, it's an adaptive test. So it adapts to the student. So wherever they come in initially, NWA creates these goals that they should be able to hit based on other students their age by the end of the school year. And we did 2 different things. So one, we did a measurement from the fall to the spring, which I showed you all the different models that we were in from the fall to the spring. 30% met their growth targets in math, 41% met their growth targets in reading. Then we said, okay, let's pull it from the winter to the spring, because that give us an indicator of did our in-person instruction, because I showed you second trimester, we were toward the middle of second trimester, February, that's when we started going, we opened it up for in-person. So we pulled it from the winter to the spring. So now instead of 30% of our students meeting their projected growth, 50% met their projected growth. Reading stayed similar, the 41% from fall to spring, and then 47% from winter to spring. I will say this, if you look at the national, these numbers are consistent with the national numbers. For MCA, the just to compare only African-American students, which we're 96% African-American, so that's a fair comparison. In the MCA, Minneapolis Public Schools in math had 9% proficiency. The state of Minnesota had 18% proficiency in math. In reading, Minneapolis Public School had 19% proficiency, and the state of Minnesota had 30% proficiency as it relates to African-American students. The same numbers are similar in NWEA when you look at the national numbers. What's interesting is that kindergarten and first grade struggled the most out across the country, not at Friendship. At Friendship, our primary campus, kindergarten and first graders and those families and those scholars had the most growth out of any grade in the school. So big shout out to the teamwork and those scholars and those families, because they had to actually be there in order to engage in their learning during all these disruptions. So we are very proud of the work that they were able to do, the K1 team. So if you look at, because one of the things, they defied the national norms that were being in place. So shout out to them. All right, so our academic goals, as you can see where we were, and now our goal this year is 42% of students. We want to set goals that, like I said, we're gonna get back to the 60s and the 70s where we were. This year, though, we're still in the pandemic. We still face possible disruption, but we're stronger this year, and we understand more about how the fact that kindergarten and first grade showed us, it could be done, and other individuals too, other individual classrooms showed us. We got evidence of that it works. Okay, we know how to do this. So, but we want to do something, set goals that are realistic. So 42% of our students will be proficient in math, science, and reading on the MCA. That's grades 3 through 8. So when you think about K8, 60% of our students will meet their growth targets, getting back to that 60% and meeting growth targets in math and reading. That's kindergarten through 8th grade combined. And then we have a foundational reading assessment called Ames Web that grades K through 3 take. And our goal is that 45% of our students are in the second quartile, or that's equivalent to being in the proficient. In other words, this year we were not where we needed to be at all. I don't have the exact number that will be in the annual report, but our goal this year is 45% will be where they need to be in terms of foundational reading skills. So, like I showed you, the community, family and community collaboration, I just wanted to give an overview of who all worked with us this year. I mean, it was a year of some amazing support, and we are thankful that we were able to get the support that we needed to get our children devices, to administer, to hire a community and family liaison, to get our families internet, to really pretty much give our teachers whatever they needed. Whether they I don't think I denied a request last year. If I did, it was very minimal requests I denied, but that was our goal, is to get them what they needed during that time, including if they needed additional support. So these are the people that support us last year. It actually goes to 2 pages. Now this page includes more of our contractors. I want to highlight a couple of them. 10 Square is the development company that located the property that our new campus is in right now. And Schreiber and Mulaney is the construction company that pulled off the amazing task that every other construction company that we interviewed said could not happen. And they did so in the middle of everything that was going on. So thankful for them. CruzGuzman is, if you're not familiar with CruzGuzman versus the state of Minnesota, you want to look that up. We are involved in that case. It is a case against the state of Minnesota. Mr. CruzGuzman is suing suing the state of Minnesota because he's claiming, the claim is that there is not adequate education, and is not adequate education in the St. Paul and Minneapolis school district because of segregation. Okay, which means that there's a high percentage of one ethnic group in certain schools. Well, we fall in that category, being 96% African American. We don't call it segregating. We call it parents choosing us. Parents are, this is not government sponsored segregation. Parents choose where they want to put their children. That's the beauty of charter schools. That's why they were created, to give an alternative option. The way we market to everybody. Everybody's welcome. The law says we have to take whoever comes as long as we got a seat, and that's that. And we welcome everybody. Even the way we set up our models and our marketing materials, everything like that, hopefully it sends a message that anybody is welcome. At the end of the day, we have to serve the children that choose, the families that choose us. And that's why we decided to be interveners as a charter school. So we've been involved in this case for 6 years. So I want to just give a brief update as to where we are. The case is potentially going to trial. We tried to do a settlement, and the settlement agreement was actually put in a committee at the legislature, the state legislature, and it didn't move anywhere past just an informational hearing. The bill involved all of the aspects of our discussions over the last 5 years in terms, well, the last 2 years of mediation. And, you know, we agree with a lot of the evidence-based approaches that the bill involves in terms of trying to reach a settlement. The one thing that we don't agree with is that, like I said at the beginning, we serve the child that sits in our seats. That child does not, no matter where they come from, we believe that they can achieve. That is what we're standing up for as Friendship Academy. The bill involves a metro-wide bus program where schools would have to meet certain quota of, you can't have any more than a certain amount of a certain ethnic group in your school. So, which means that we'll have to be in a position where we have to tell families no. Not because we don't have a seat, not because we don't have room, it's because we have too many of one ethnic group. And that's something that we absolutely stand firm on and do not agree with, because you do not have to be sitting to someone of a different culture. You do not have to be sitting next to someone who makes more money, right, than a different economic status in order to learn. No, those evidence-based practices that are a part of the settlement and the bill is what works. Those restorative practices, those relationship building, that belief among educators that every child can succeed is what makes the difference. That child feeling like they're welcome in their learning environment. That family that feels like their school is supporting them. All those things is what creates high achievement. We know. We've been there, we've done it for 21 years, and that's what we're standing on. So it's Friendship Academy of the Arts, it's Paladin High School, and it's Higher Ground Academy, who are the 3 intervening charter schools, and we're supported by the rest of the charter schools in the state of Minnesota as well. So I wanted to get that brief update. You can Google it to get more specific updates, and again, I will have more updates in the annual report. So these are some of the ideas that we are looking for to improve. Increase mental health for scholars and families and teams. So access to mental health resources. Increase the community partnerships to get more resources. Really get better and laser focus on our data analysis and standards mastery through what we call show what you know quizzes. So research says that you know, when learning, when teaching and learning, then the students need smaller chunks of assessments instead of waiting to the end of the unit. Now let's see if you remember all this stuff that we went through. No, we're gonna break it up in smaller chunks So we'll know if that mastery have been established, so we can make quicker decisions on which way our instruction goes. Definitely game changer with that one, and that will help us get to where we need to be academically. Increase support for classroom teachers. So again, the resources that they need, we want to continue to give them the resource that they need, and also the classroom support. One of the feedbacks that we heard, we need more support staff, things like that. So this year, our plan is that every teacher will have a support staff in their classroom, and on top of the intervention supports and the professional development that they need. So all about supporting the teachers, increasing our support with our classroom teacher. Lesson preparation, getting more focused on preparing for our lesson and anticipating disruptions so that we may be able to move in and out as needed. Improve the quality of our professional development, our staff culture, and our morale. Those things right there are part of our strategic plan initiative. And that's something that we're going to focus on this year to improve our results. Improve planning and communication. So as a leadership team, what that communication number, 49%. So this is a result of that. Okay, so we got to get better at planning. We got to get better being more proactive. We got to get better at improving the communication of what our plans are. Increase intervention. Like I told you, we added an additional intervention teacher and special education support by providing our special education department with another teacher as well as a support staff. Strengthen school and home collaboration. So utilizing our family and community liaison, since we're not anticipating a similar role as to calling students that are not online because we're going to be in person. But we want to use that position to continue to strengthen our relationship with our families and stay consistent and knowledgeable of COVID-19 mitigation strategies. One thing about us is that we went through the entire year, even when we was totally remote, we had a group of students of essential workers that we were still serving in person. We also went through an entire summer program, 2 summer programs in person this summer with no spread. And that's because of the consistency of the team. That's because of the knowledge that we stand on top of the COVID-19 mitigation strategy, staying close to CDC, and really reinforcing those things on a daily basis with our team. And this is our COVID-19 preparedness plan. So if this has been approved by our board, so it's going to be on our website this week. So anytime you want to take a look at it, it will be available on our website. So now we get into the future. That's a recap of last year, last school year. Now we get into the future. And I wanted to take this opportunity to really show you where we're going. All right. So this amazingly talks about last year too, because it was developed in the middle of everything going on. So you're talking about February when we started this. That's when we just started back coming in person. We work with Bellwether Education Partners through support of Great Minnesota Schools. So grateful for that partnership with Great Minnesota Schools. They provide so much support for our leadership team and just in general. And so this is a part of their support, and Bellwether Education Partners is one of the leading education consultants in the entire country. So we are so thankful. They got it done. Our last strategic plan took us 6 months. This took us 3. And it comes with more measurements. It comes with more accountability. It comes with more definition, which another reason why we say we're friendship stronger. So the main highlights of this, if you see at the top right here, is we had to determine in 8th grade, when our scholars leave 8th grade, what it's like our North Star. What do we see? Who are they? What is our ideal? How would they be thinking? How would they be acting? How would they be interacting with others in the community? Through the process, the strategic planning process, again, they did the same interviews and things like that. it came up innovative, inclusive leaders. Innovative, that's that creativity part. Inclusive, meaning that's the friendship way part, this community, and then being leaders in our community. Now, if you look at these three pillars right here, it gives you, then we develop definitions, and this is available too. It is, I will make sure it's in the next newsletter, but you can also email us at school@friendship if you want a copy of it. We'll definitely send it to you, because I'm not gonna be able to go through everything about it. Be happy to sit and talk about friendship all day whenever you get ready, because I really, this can be a 2-hour meeting. So I'm trying to condense this down because I get so excited when you talk about friendship and our plans for the future. But innovative scholars, you see the definition of what an innovative scholar is. Inclusive leaders, you see right there, you get an idea of what we mean, what defines an inclusive leader. And this will equal up to community builders. That's what our community needs. Our community needs people that's going to interact with other people in the community for the purposes of building our community up. Okay. You see some of the things in terms of what a community member is: advocate for the needs of themselves and others in productive ways, think innovatively, and collaborate with others to find restorative solutions. Imagine if we had more of this in our community. Generate positive change in the communities by utilizing leadership skills. That is where we see our scholars when they leave Friendship Academy. And then we got even more detail. We got even more detail because you see over here, you see innovative scholars, you see the description, and then we got even more detail in terms of, okay, what skills do they have to possess in order to be an innovative scholar? And then what's the evidence? How are we going to measure if they actually obtain these skills? That's what I mean by more defined. That's what I mean by more accountable, because that's what this plan calls for. That's what it needs. That's what our students need and families need to know. Okay, am I an innovative scholar? Okay, how do I know if I'm one or not? This right here gives them a definition of that. And then we got inclusive leaders. So same thing. You have what an inclusive leader is. You have the description, and then you have the skills that we are looking to give them so they can possess in order to be an inclusive leader. And then we're gonna measure ourselves. Okay, we got different surveys and things like that that's gonna let us know if we are on track with our plan. And then community builders, same thing. You got community builders, you have the description of what a community builder is, you have the skills that they're gonna have to have in order to be a community builder. And then again, you have the evidence or the measurement that is going to be needed in order to know if we are on the right track. Then we peeled another piece of the onion and we looked at ourselves as leadership team. Okay, what are the drivers of these outcomes? So we started with the North Star. We described it, defined it. Then we said, okay, what does it look like in terms of skills? And then how are we going to measure it? Okay, so now it's to the point we said, okay, what is going to drive all of this? Well, it's three main things. It's a high functioning leadership team. Okay, prepared to effectively support teachers. There it is right there. We got to support our teachers. Effective staff development to support strong school culture and instruction. Strengthen staff morale, retention, and accountability. You see, those three things are in our plan to improve this year, which is directly related to where our strategic plan. So now, in order to do that, the leadership team, that was overall. Then we look back at the leadership team, and the leadership team said, these three things right here is something that we're going to have to do. Oh no, these are the same pillars of the drivers to the outcome. Sorry about that. So then we went and said, okay, priority one, in terms of looking at ourselves as a leadership team, what are some of the things, just like we did in the innovative, inclusive scholars, same thing, the initiatives. We defined it. We have specific outcomes that we want to measure in order to see And as you can see, what our 3-year goals are, at the end of 3 years, 80% of our leaders agree that they will know what is expected of them to work. 100% of leaders set goals. 70% of teachers will agree that the school has effective instructional leadership team, and is measured by specific surveys, such as the Insight, which is one of the best surveys that give us specific indicators that are out there. As you can see, priority 2, as it relates to professional development systems. You look at all the initiatives that's going to go into making priority 2 a reality, and the measurements, okay, has a lot to do with satisfaction, has a lot to do with development, has a lot to do with environment, has a lot to do with morale, things like that. Because the better we develop our staff, the better experience it is for our students. And then when you're talking about priority 3, about staff morale, and retaining high quality staff, as charter schools, well, schools in general, I mean, if you look at the job market right now, there's a lot of turnover happening. So, okay, do we just say, oh man, this is gonna be us too? No, we're friendship. Okay, we're friendship because, and we believe that if we are who we are, and we do everything we can to develop and show our staff what they mean to us and our team members, and value them, and give them the tools and the resources that they need, in addition to trying our best to compensate the best we can, we believe that we don't have to give in to the current situations of the job market. That our goal is to, you see our 3-year outcomes, and overall, we want our staff to increase our retention to at least a 7 to 10 year deal. On average, that staff stays anywhere from 7 to 10 years. And right now, it's somewhere between 3 and 5. We want to increase that number to 7 to 10 years. What do we need to do to get there? These are the things that we're going to do in order to get there. So then you see, then we created with Bellwether, you see all these initiatives, and now we created, okay, here's a timeline, and this is what we're holding ourselves accountable to in order to make this a reality. And you see that for every one of the systems that we have created. Every one of the priorities that we have identified. Sorry about that. And here are some of the risks, some of the things that may get into the way. And we've identified that and accepted that, and we'll do everything we can to overcome it, because we don't want it to end up in strategic plan land. Okay, where's strategic plan land? Strategic plan land is on the shelf. All right, this is not the reason why we spent time putting this together. We put this together because we really believe that we can do it. We really believe that it's going to work. And we are holding ourselves accountable to recognizing these risks and these challenges, to put these mitigation strategies in place so that we can avoid the pitfalls of implementing a strategic plan. So at the end of 3 years, this is where we want to get to. I know we've seen our plan, our MCA results and our NWA results, but at the end of 3 years, minimum 70% of students meet or exceed grade level performance on MCA. Minimum 70% of students will meet expected growth targets on NWA in math and reading. 80% retention among staff and students. And then a robust performance management system that develops, recognize, and reward staff for the impactful work that they are doing each and every day. That is my presentation. I hope that gave you a idea of a recap of last year, as well as where we plan on going this year. So at this time, I just want to open it up and see if anybody got any questions, comments, ideas. When you think about what we are spending our ESSER 3 money on, ESSER 3 is the last federal support that where schools got a significant amount of money. I think we got, I want to say a little bit over $700,000 to support what we are over the next 2 years. So when you think about how we're going to use it, those things that I listed earlier in terms of what our plan is for improvement is how we're planning on using it. Yes, Ms. Jennifer, that's a great idea. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put the link to the presentation in the chat so you can have it. That's the whole thing. This meeting is also being recorded, so it will be available on our YouTube channel, and I'll make sure that it is on our social media as well. Thank you, Ms. Brenda. And thank you, Ms. Tiffany. And yeah, Ms. Thompson, yay, K1. Yeah, y'all really did it. Great job. All right, so we got a few minutes. If nothing else, you all have my email. If you don't, my email is, if you're watching later, my email is brussell@friendshipacademy.org. General email is school@friendshipacademy.org. And yeah, just reach out to us. We are very responsive, and we'll definitely respond because, as you can see, we listen to the voice of our community. So thank you, Ms. Ablor. Thank you, Ms. Jules. All right. So thank y'all for joining tonight. That's it. And let's be friendship stronger. All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.